everybody. Welcome to My Worst Date. I'm Cassie.
I'm Keegan.
I'm Christina.
And I went out this morning early. I woke up before Chris. And so I went out into the living room and his EW was sitting there. And first of all, I picked it up because it was Bridgerton on the cover. I was like, oh, tell me everything.
Happening. It's happening. Even without my boyfriend, the Duke.
I know, dude. Ugh. Anyway, so one of the articles was talking about the best TV couples. It's like clearly a very February issue of like we're going to talk about love because it's,
February,
season,
yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, they did like the top, I think it was like 30 TV couples. And I was very intrigued because I was like, okay, tell me everything. And of course there was like your, the go-tos. You had like
The Jim and Pam.
Yes. Yeah. Jim
and Pam, Phil and Viv, right?
No, they weren't on there.
What?
I know.
I think that they have such a, even though like Aunt Viv got switched
You're
out.
like, which Aunt Viv, right? Viv 1 or 2?
Viv 1.
Obviously.
Viv 1 rules. But like that relationship, I think is so like, I love it.
Yeah. Man. And you know what's so devastating? I know I don't even want to bring it up, but like to me growing up, it was Cosby. Like,
yes.
That couple
I actually was going to say that as well. Like they were
sucks.
such a, well, I think that's the thing that like a lot of people have trouble grappling with. Like you can acknowledge that like Cosby the person is an absolute fucking monster, and I don't think any of us would ever say otherwise,
Right.
while also recognizing the cultural impact of that show and like the positive impact, especially like for my family, for like the Black community. Like that show was like so impactful in a really positive
You had a
way.
lawyer and a doctor
married to each other with this very healthy family
dynamic. It was
Bill Cosby. Trash.
There's actually a Showtime documentary called
Yes.
We Need to Talk About Cosby that I've been meaning to watch.
Me too.
Because
I have
I'm
to be
like,
in the right headspace.
yeah, same. Because
Yeah.
I'm like, I feel the exact same way where I do feel like the show itself was incredibly impactful, and it's very difficult to know what to do with that now.
Yeah.
Knowing.
And it's why so many people, I think, want to be in denial about it, especially like within the Black community. So many people want to be in denial about Cosby, but you don't have to be. Like you can just say, this show was meaningful and impactful on my life and on a community and, on the time that it was created. And
He is a monster.
A monster. Those two things don't have to be mutually exclusive.
Dude, they did a show based on Cosby
I
for
heard.
the brand new Law and Order. And I was like,
Oh,
my
dude.
God.
Where someone
Yes.
murders
Yeah.
him, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, spicy.
I gotta be honest. You guys,
I didn't love it.
I didn't either.
And I
didn't
was
watch
so
it.
excited.
I
I
was
was like,
so
Law
excited.
and Order's coming back. Oh my God.
It was
Like, blah,
just
blah.
more
It was
cop porn.
mediocre. It was
Sorry.
mediocre. It was really,
It
I was like,
and Anthony Anderson coming in with that hot take of like, victims need like love too or whatever. Like they deserve respect, even if
you
they're
mean the like perpetrators.
yeah. Because he was a
Oh.
victim. I just was like, oof.
Feels unnecessary.
I don't love that take
to
at
say.
all.
yeah.
I recently discovered, speaking of monsters, and I can't believe I'm outing myself this way on this podcast, but I recently discovered that Harvey Weinstein and I have the same sun and moon sign.
Oof.
Ooh.
And I'm like,
God, why would you?
No.
Oh my God.
Dude.
Like
no.
I took that personally.
Yeah.
I was like,
Chris
what does
and
that say
Alex
about me?
Jones.
Oh. Yikes.
Ugh.
Well, yeah,
Anyway.
I've been on quite the journey trying to figure out Eric's like just all over the place with his.
So is mine.
Sun,
Mine is
moon.
a mess. Mine is a mess. I want to hire someone to break it down because
I know
they'll be
someone.
like, "You in danger, girl." Like this situation is not great. Like
I need to know, like, have we figured out Anthony's actual birth time yet?
Nope.
So
Nope.
I feel like he's sitting on it for a reason.
no, he doesn't know. He really doesn't know.
I owe you and Anthony an apology because I did look at Dylan's birth certificate and it does not. It looks just like Anthony's. It does not have the time on
Yeah.
it.
So to let the listeners in on this,
if you're from
we-
Ohio, we need help.
we need help, like, because we have been trying to figure out Anthony's chart, like his birth chart, right? Because he is the least Aquarius I've ever met in my life. So I'm like, there's something going on. Like, you're like moon and rising. There's like a situation happening here.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I need to know what it is. So we need to know your birth time, so we have an accurate like birth chart. And so he asked his mom. She doesn't remember. Okay, the woman is 70 years old with 4 children.
Listen,
it's all mixed up.
My son's only 25. Do not ask me what time.
Right. So he got out his birth certificate, and it's like, it's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. It doesn't have a birth time on it. So then he called the hospital. The hospital got rid of the records because they're too long ago. So then he contacted the state and paid to have a copy of his birth certificate sent here. And it's the same thing he already had that doesn't have a time on it. What's happening in Ohio that they're not putting birth times on a birth certificate?
What's happening in Ohio is a great question to ask.
Just
a lot of
times. Just across the board. And we're from there. So I feel
exactly.
Like I can say confidence.
I can say it. Absolutely. Wow. Oh my gosh. Back to TV couples.
Sorry. Okay. Wow. Yeah, we took a turn.
Yeah.
But speaking of, really quickly, I do have a person who does like full birth charts. So FYI.
Totally
I'm interested to know.
Also, too, there's a lot of Aquarian traits that Anthony has that I think. So I wouldn't be surprised though if he was like an Aries or a fire sign rising, because he's got a lot of gregarious energy.
Yeah, I don't see a lot of Aquarius in him. I just don't see a ton of it. Some, but like not very much. I can feel just because I can feel a lot of our specifically, not to call you out, but male listeners rolling their eyes at this entire astrology conversation. The world is falling apart. Let us cling to whatever.
It's the apocalypse.
One thing.
Yeah, like I get it. It's not like it's not science. I understand. However, like let us have something that we can point to that offers us some comfort that maybe we might know anything about this unknowable universe.
Yeah.
Please.
Yep.
Anyway, TV couples.
All right. So why don't we, we don't have to go by their list. Why don't we pick our own favorite TV couples?
Okay.
I'm going to go with Dwayne and
Whitley.
Yes.
From a different world.
Yes.
Oh,
I loved them.
This says a lot about me. I wanted to be Whitley. I wanted to be that like high maintenance, expensive ass bitch.
Yes.
Like whenever I was a kid.
And I wanted Dwayne.
With those glasses that flip up. So cute. Okay.
This is problematic looking back at it, but the TV couple that I have to say that really like got me, where I was like, I am very invested. My heart will break if something happens, is Jim and Pam. I know it's so cliche, but
no, like it's of a time.
I never watched The Office.
And I didn't watch it until a few years ago. And then I did watch the whole thing.
But I understand, like, I know who Jim and Pam are. So, I mean, for somebody who didn't even watch the show to know, I mean, that was a real...
Yes. Yeah. They are a
situationship.
Quintessential...
And, I read
TV couple.
that they were actually... Because you've watched the whole thing. Mm-hmm. They were going to have Jim sleep with that chick. They were going to have Jim cheat on Pam. And people, like, Jim was like...
I cannot.
Literally. No, I cannot. People would... Riot. I would have lost my mind. Like, I would have been so upset. It's amazing how invested you get into something that is not real at all.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Speaking of our astrology conversation, as well as these made up couples, but it really would have been a mess if he had cheated. I needed to believe in a strong love at the time. And that was...
You know what? I'm going to take it back to a show that was formative for me growing up, and I'm gonna go with Corey and Topanga.
Okay.
From Boy Meets World.
Oh,
because
wow.
that relationship to me, I mean, I grew up with that show. I would watch it. It was always on TGIF on ABC, which was like that.
Do they end up together in the end? I don't think I ever
stay together.
watched...
They get married.
And they're like childhood sweethearts?
Yeah, they meet in elementary school, and she's like the like hippie weirdo, and like he like doesn't like her or whatever. And then of course they get together in like middle school and high school. And yes, there's a lot to be said about like she decides not to go, like she's so smart, she's the valedictorian, and she decides not to go to like Harvard or Yale or whatever, so that she can stay with Corey.
Ooh,
which is
I
not
don't like that message.
the best, but I mean, it was the 90s.
Exactly. Oh my God. Why
sacrifice for a man?
Yeah.
Well, there's plenty of that in the Jim and Pam thing, and that was the 2000s. So.
Yeah, I mean, and it did go into the 2000s as well. But yeah, that was the vibe at the time. But I was very invested. I mean, that was like, I'm like, if they break up, then love is dead. You know, like that was the feeling of Corey and Topanga. It's like childhood soulmates.
Different World was so long ago. I can't even remember. I think that they end up together, but I'm like, I don't even remember how that show ends.
I'm pretty sure that they do end up together, but they have more ups and downs,
That's
I
right.
think, than...
It's very roller coaster.
Yeah, it is. I mean, Corey and Topanga, obviously, you can't have a relationship since elementary school that doesn't have a lot of like ups and downs. I think they break up at one point and get back together, like, you know, but I feel like Dwayne and Whitley, I love that relationship.
They're
because
spicy.
And because you see them like really struggle with their differences a lot.
Yeah.
I think in A Different World, because she is so like bougie, certain kind of like, there's like a class thing there. And I think she really struggles with loving Dwayne because he's so not that.
Yeah.
You know?
Mhm. Yeah.
Like
she sees herself with like some Harvard,
doctor,
bigwig.
lawyer.
Yes, doctor. Exactly.
Yeah.
And he's not that. And so for her, she
I love
struggles through that whole like, can I love somebody
But I
who
love
doesn't
you.
meet that standard, that like elusive pipe dream that I had set out for myself? And she's definitely that like type A personality who has like set out her entire life in front of her.
Well, I definitely identified with that when I was watching it when I was a kid, because I've been type A since I can remember.
Since you were born. We saw that picture of you with the lamb.
Look at this fucking sheep. Yeah, no, it is ingrained in me where like I have always, from as long as I can remember, it's not so much the doctor lawyer thing. I don't have respect for people that aren't I don't want to say ambitious, but aren't pushing themselves. And if someone's not pushing themselves for some kind of growth, be it emotional or like on the job front or something, if someone is not actively trying to
better themselves, then I have no respect or no room for them in my life. And sometimes that's like an intense, like that is a failure for me too.
Dude,
is that sometimes
like to your own detriment.
To my own detriment. That I don't allow people slack, including myself.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I understand that.
So yeah, the Dwayne and Whitley thing really got me, you know, where I'm just like, you know, I need to chill on these quote unquote standards, or sometimes shooting myself in the foot from having a good person.
I think, you know, I think that, Christina, you and I maybe are similar in that, like, we have, and I think we've discussed this before, like, I sometimes struggle with, in my head, I have a very, like, thorough internal world, right? Where, like, in my head, I will plot out, this is going to happen, and then this is going to happen, and then this is going to happen. And you plot, like, so far down the line that then sometimes you don't know what to do when something... life throws you a curveball and you're like, whoa. This isn't how I planned this.
Right. Oh.
Like, and how do I readjust? Because like, this isn't how this was supposed to go. And I feel that in Whitley. Like, I feel like she very much like came to school and was like, I'm going to come to school. I'm going to get my degree. I'm going to meet a doctor at school.
That's right.
We're going to get married. We're going to have this kind of house. We're going to have this many kids. My life is going to look like this.
Yep.
And then she meets Dwayne and he throws a wrench into all of her plans.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Yeah, Dwayne is the best road bump or like speed bump along the way.
He's so hot
he's
too.
Such perfection.
Yeah.
I had the biggest crush on him.
That smile. Ooh. He's got such a great smile.
Ooh, the glasses. God, I was in love.
Can we also talk about how hot Danielle Fishel is though? Like, I think Danielle Fishel Topanga is like so hot.
Oh yeah,
so
she's
pretty,
gorgeous.
Yeah,
and that's what makes me like hearing that, and I feel like I knew that or saw that somewhere, and I'd never seen the end of it before, but hearing that she like gave that up is so triggering to me.
Yeah, me
I'm
too.
just like,
yeah, me too.
Yeah.
As somebody that's made similar choices, it's like, that man ain't going to pan out for you, but that fucking certificate will.
Yeah,
Girl,
that's right.
Secure the bag.
Yeah,
That's
Corey
right.
wasn't smart enough to get into
Well, that's Corey's fault. It sounds like a Corey
or
problem to
whatever.
me.
Yes. Yeah.
I need to know more about Jim and Pam. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so for me, it's kind of the same as reading like the romance novel,
Yes.
the will they, won't they of it, of the first like couple seasons, how like Jim has loved Pam and they have this great relationship of like friendship.
And she's with trash.
She is with
A man who
a
doesn't
man
value her.
who doesn't value
Yeah.
her and is just not a good
Been
dude.
engaged to him for like 9 years. He's dragging his feet on marrying her. And Jim is all the time just watching it, kind of like biding
From
his
the
time,
sidelines.
loving from afar, you know?
What's great about their relationship and what keeps it still in my head is that Jim's love, there's something about that allows Pam to grow and become stronger, to start to stand up for who she is and what she wants.
She starts to believe what he sees.
Yes. Yeah, which is nice. And I'll
like
always
that.
remember that casino night kiss or
Mhm.
whatever.
Oh, won't we
When
all?
oh my God.
And when they do finally get married, I love their wedding episode because it's like everything that could go wrong does go wrong. They're not enjoying themselves. They're not having fun. And so they decide to kind of like, spoiler alert, they decide to kind of like sneak off and get married, just them. And then they come back to the chapel and do it in front of everyone. And then it doesn't matter because
Right.
it's like they've already
There he did the thing.
done it.
Yeah.
So like they've taken all the pressure off and it's really just like sweet. Now, yes,
Towards the later seasons, I
Yes.
could see what the writers were trying to do to introduce conflict
Yeah.
into their relationship, with Jim finding another passion, and meanwhile Pam's bogged down with like family, and there seemed like they were trying to introduce strife into the
right.
situation.
I mean, and even then, like, yeah, a lot has been written about that relationship. Like, there's so many like opinion pieces about the like that weird message that was sent in the early 2000s about like these grand gestures of romance that are actually like kind of toxic. Like he
Right.
buys a house without telling Pam.
Oh, I hate
Yes.
that.
And it's supposed to be romantic, right? Like, and she's like, "You bought me a house," and it's like happy, and we're happy, but in
he
real
didn't
life,
communicate with
Right.
her. And
I
the
hate
same,
that.
yeah, there are issues like looking back at it, like through like 15 years later,
Sure. A new
you're
lens.
like, ooh, like that wouldn't be.
yeah. But
good.
at the time, I mean, who didn't want to be with Jim Halpert? Like,
Oh.
he had that like floppy haircut, that like he was funny and silly and like,
I was in love.
Yeah.
I was smitten with Jim
Yeah.
Halpert.
hey,
Yeah.
weren't we all?
Yeah.
Like, it was a
and there's
vibe.
an attainability to it as well.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
yeah,
something
yeah.
really attainable. Like, oh, that's a real life guy I could totally see myself with.
Right.
All right. I think I know what I'm going to do.
Okay, you go.
All right. I am going to marry Dwayne and Whitley.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
I am, because I love that. I love that they challenge each other. I love that they're better because of each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that there's chemistry, but there's also a respect, a really strong respect. I mean, this is the first woman character that I saw really being just like, I don't give a shit. I
Yeah.
am the bitch. I am the boss. And
Oh, I loved
am-
that in the
She-
90s. Like there were a
yes.
few characters like that
Yeah.
in the 90s who were like, I'm bougie and I own it.
Yeah.
Like I like that I'm this way and
Yeah.
like I don't care that everybody
I'm
else
not
thinks
apologizing.
whatever about me.
No
Like,
apologies.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love that. Neither of them were apologetic about who they were, and they were just so authentically themselves. And I love that. And I love that. That's what I would want in a marriage.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? Would want, like, I don't have that. Like, that's what I would want if I was married. I am married.
yeah.
We're really great. That
Like
is
we're
it.
fine.
Yeah. We're fine. We're just like this. I am going to fuck Jim and Pam.
Okay.
Because that will they won't they thing is hot as fuck.
Yeah.
Like, so that
spicy.
when it does happen, you're like, it gives you the full body tingles.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, that's
yes.
that casino kiss is like magical for like a moment, because you want it so bad,
Yes.
and both of them want it, but they're not supposed to want it, and it's
Oh,
like,
that forbidden love thing.
Woo.
Stop it.
I mean,
yeah.
hot.
the
Stop.
only kiss that's hotter than that kiss is the new girl kiss that happens.
I
Do you
love
know
New Girl.
when Nick
Yes.
grabs Jess and he's like, "I meant to kiss you like this."
Yes.
That is the hottest fucking kiss that has
couple?
ever been. I'm like, goosebumps.
Goosebumps.
I love that show
Fucking
so much.
goosebumps.
I know that show is underrated.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Actually,
Agree.
But yeah.
And so yeah, for the latter of those,
Yeah, it's all
three,
right.
I have to. I'm sorry. Like I don't know enough about that storyline to have been invested in it. So, but that not going to college because of some boy.
Well,
that
she
is
did go to college,
well,
but yes,
I mean,
she
but
didn't
not
go
taking
to
the opportunity and the advantage of having what she could have because of a guy just is really triggering for me.
Yeah.
Whitley wouldn't have done that.
No, Whitley wouldn't have
done that.
Whitley wouldn't have. Pam would have.
Yeah.
Pam would have. You know, for me, I think I'm going to fuck Whitley and Dwayne.
I mean, they're hot.
Because of these couples, I think they're the hottest.
Yeah.
that's
You're
it.
right.
I think of these couples, one, I think they're the hottest. Two, I think that they would be the most experimental in bed.
Oh.
Like of the three of them. Like
Absolutely.
the other two couples are a little vanilla, a little like milk toast. So
Absolutely.
I am gonna fuck them. I think that would be a really good time. I also just want to hang out with their friends. Like I'm like, they seem like that would be a good time.
Yes.
I'm going to marry Corey and Topanga. There's something about
You're invested in them.
I'm invested in them. Like they
no
were.
apologies.
That was one of my favorite shows growing up, and then also just there's something very. They were an example of like two people who kind of like were drawn together on a magnetic kind of level.
Oh.
And you know. And because that was the kind of like, that's the big scene that everyone always remembers is at one point Topanga moves away. Her parents move her away and she comes back in the middle of the night in the rain. And it's that whole like very romantic, can't be apart, you know, kind of thing, which has its own element of toxicity. I understand.
know, but it does. There is something very romance novel that like you just are like, oh man, I want that.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're like, you kind of know that it's
and maybe it's the
toxic, but
Yeah,
at the same
yeah.
time, you're like,
Yeah. Maybe it's the final seasons of The Office for me that kind of taint that. But I feel like that marriage is more likely to fall apart than Corey and Topanga.
I do definitely agree with you in that I wish that the trajectory of growth that they had Pam on kept going.
Yeah.
Because I feel like her character just
stalled out, like had children and then kind of like stalled.
Yeah. And I
I
wanted to see her still continue to grow and become more strong. I mean, we just had that Patreon movie of Fried Green Tomatoes and talking about Kathy Bates's character.
That's how they're going to end up.
Continuing to grow. And I do feel you're exactly right. I do feel it's going to be like that.
Right.
For
Like
them.
there's going to have to be a lot of like Corey and Topanga have been together for so long in one way or another that I feel like they will always put in the work and they communicate to each other. That like, I feel like that is a marriage that's going to sustain. And so I'm like, I like the stability of that relationship.
I don't see the communication being as strong within Jim and Pam's relationship.
Yeah.
for
And
sure.
so that's why I would let them go. Not that and again, like absolutely I understand the vibe of that relationship and how meaningful that was like at the time. And of course, like Jim. Loved Jim.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And those moments where he, you know, was romantic or whatever, that is something that I know at the time I was craving so hard. I was missing that someone just seeing you and wanting you so badly.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that's the reason why it hit so hard is because that's what I wanted. That's what I needed.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But now looking back at it, I was like, he's kind of using that as a substitution for real conversation and meaningful connection. But
You're like, now that I can diagnose that a little deeper.
yeah, now I'm like, yeah, I honestly, I think I'm going to marry Whitley. Specifically Whitley.
Just Whitley.
Just her. You're like, not Dwayne.
I love it actually.
No, Dwayne and Whitley, I definitely agree with everything that's been said. There is something to be said for opposites attract and the way, like you said, that they communicate and they make each other better. I think there's real growth that's happening there and that is attractive to me. Again, that's what I said. I'm turned on by growth and by that kind of thing. So I'm going to marry that. Also hot. So, and then I think I'm going to fuck Corey and Topanga.
Okay.
I just see that being more of a fun time than I think fucking Jim and Pam. Being in the middle of that, there seems like maybe there's a stronger foundation between Corey and Topanga to bring a third in and it would be fine.
There's a silliness with Corey and Topanga too that I feel like could be really fun.
Yeah.
Like where it's just like there's like a kind of like silly understanding there.
Heartedness.
That like, yeah.
There's something really inherently wrong about thinking that Jim and Pam have sex in any other position than
The
the missionary.
Yeah, I don't see. I will
don't
say
see
that.
him flipping her over and like
no.
taking her from behind. That's just
No.
it's not okay. I can't even say it out loud. I can't
No.
even finish the sentence.
I don't see them having a threesome. Like I
Oh.
really don't see it happening.
No.
Can
I
you
feel like-
imagine Whitley allowing a threesome?
No, I don't. But like I feel like
I think Whitley
Jim-
would if it was another man.
Yeah,
That's the only
yeah.
threesome she would have.
Mhm. And she gets to pick
Yeah.
for sure.
Oh.
She's completely in control of that entire encounter. Yes,
Yeah.
completely. Yeah, I feel like Jim and Pam, like I think maybe it's because it's the way The Office is shot, where it's supposed to be uncomfortable. Like, you know, there's like that really uncomfortable way that's kind of like the whole thing is that show is awkward.
Yeah.
And I feel like the sex would also be awkward.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Jim is going to
Yeah.
make Jim face to the camera during sex.
No.
You know? And you're like, you know.
Pulling
no.
faces.
Oh no.
I am so glad though that we're all in agreement on the Nick and Jessica kiss being like
Oh,
the
yeah,
hottest
of
thing
course.
of all time.
Sorry,
Yeah.
when you said Nick and Jessica, I
know, I was
immediately
like-
thought about Nick Lachey and Jessica
I was like, what? Took a second.
And I was like, whoa, hold on.
Well, that's a whole nother thing that
Yeah.
I know Cass and I will talk about off air because I did watch the reunion.
Oh, no, that's not what I was talking about. I was talking about like the Newlyweds, that MTV show with Nick Lachey and Jessica
Yeah.
Simpson.
What?
What? You don't wait,
You don't
Tuna?
remember this?
I
Chicken of the
know.
Sea?
Oh, yes, I do know
Yes,
about that. I
yeah.
thought there was a new thing
No.
that they did together, and I
No,
was
no.
like, wait, what?
No.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. Well, that was a really fun.
Wait,
FMK.
I need to know. Nick and Jessica, what are you talking about? I'm lost.
Nick and Jessica from New Girl.
Oh, that Nick and Jessica. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Nick
I'm
Miller
with you. Yes.
and Jess.
Yes. New girl.
Yes.
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah.
Got it. Back.
What a fun FMK. We do have some new patrons that I want to shout
Yay.
out.
Let's give them some recognition.
So, first of all, I just want to give a general shout out to the whole of Iceland because
Okay.
y'all have constantly been turning out. We see our analytics and like we have been on the charts several times in Iceland.
yeah.
Very cool. I love it.
Love to see it.
Would love to come visit y'all someday. But we did get our first patron from Iceland. So a big shout out to Erna Kristen Elise-daughter. Hopefully I said your name correctly. Please let me know if I did not. Welcome to our Patreon. We are so happy to have you. We will be getting you your rewards very, very soon. And big shout out also to Liam, who I believe I believe he might be from the UK.
Nice.
So shout out to you. And Aaron and Meg, welcome to our Patreon family. We are so happy to have you. We're so grateful for all of your support. Please let us know if you have any suggestions for FMK, Tainted Love, Would You Rather, or Tainted Love movies. We always
Yeah.
love to hear from you.
Love it. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Well, you guys want to take 5 and we'll come back with stories?
Sounds
Yes.
good.
And we're back.
Okay. I'm going to go first. I have, because I have Tainted Love. I can't even words. Hold on. This isn't going to be great.
It's okay. We
Good
took a
start.
break and our brains just
I know.
fully shut off. I understand.
It's completely stopped working. All right. So I was 24 at the time and had just gotten out of a relationship. I was a single mother, so I only had very small amount of time I could go on dates and had a hard time meeting guys outside of the dating apps due to my work schedule. I was also new to the dating thing, so I didn't really know the proper etiquette for these things. I matched with a guy on Hinge and we agreed to meet for coffee at a local Starbucks early in the day before I had to work later. Let's call him Steve. I showed up in casual summer clothes. It was like 80 degrees and walked in to see my match was about 6'3", wearing dress clothes. I walked up to him.
That's a energy. I feel like that's a lot.
Yeah, he just came in very strong.
Like, why are
He's
you in a 3-piece suit, sir?
Yeah. He's like, this is our wedding, right? No.
Want to make a good impression. Okay.
And he boasted, "Oh, wow, you're actually cute." Thanks. Apparently, he didn't anticipate the girl he was meeting up with for a date to be cute. We get in line to order, and I mentioned grabbing something small to eat because I hadn't eaten yet. He replied, "Oh, I don't eat breakfast. Eating in the morning makes people fat. You really should look into that science."
Whoa. Wow. Oh, okay. I don't love that.
Look, and we all know
Awful.
that you don't even like breakfast, but you don't say shit like that.
Who says that?
No. And also, it's different strokes for different folks. Like, if
Honestly.
you really, really look at the science,
Look at the science.
what works for one person will
Does
not
not.
work for the next person.
so
yeah,
stupid.
Right. It's like some people thrive in the morning, some people thrive in the evening, and, you know, meal times are the same. That's...
Also, is this guy a fucking doctor?
Yeah, honestly, who the fuck are you?
Yeah, please show me your credentials, sir.
I rolled my eyes in my own head and intended to end the date early. But after we sat down with our coffee, he did manage to redeem himself a little with the conversation.
Also, I'm sorry, you're in dress clothes at breakfast?
I know.
Are you going to church after this?
Steve tells me he's dressed up because he worked at the car dealership and was also going to work later.
Okay.
Later, I realized it's a Sunday and car dealerships only stay open until about 5. It was noon, so I think he was lying about having to go back to work. We decide to go for a walk. We walk through the parking lot, and he mentions that he has a kitten at home that he had just newly got and needs to go home and check on him at some point. He asked if I wanted to go meet him.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Do you know how
got
quickly?
me.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
like, I'm about to get murdered.
Free
Because
kittens.
Would
Yeah.
I go?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm like, a
Yes.
kitten?
I'm there.
All right.
I've
I'm
already-
willing to risk it.
I'm already in your car.
Let's
sir.
go.
Let's go. Even
What does
if
it look like? Is
Even
it a
if
black
you did tell me
kitten?
I'm going to get fat because I ate breakfast,
Yeah.
I'm going to eat your. I'm going to eat.
I'm gonna eat your
eat your kitten. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! He asked if I want to meet him. I was extremely hesitant to go, but he assured me that he also lived with some family. He swore he'd bring me back to my car in time for work, so I agree, and we get into his car and go. We get to the house and walk inside, and there's almost nothing in there. The living room has 2 couches, 1 small TV on an end table, and a bunch of Magic the Gathering cards on the floor.
Oh.
He goes into the kitchen and brings me the kitten to hold and introduces me to his brother, who is playing video games in the kitchen and has earphones in and has no clue I'm even there. Doesn't even look up.
Mm-hmm.
Steve and I go into the living room to sit and finish our earlier conversations. I sit on one end of the couch thinking that he'll sit on the other end and we could talk and we could look in each other's directions. Nope. He plops down directly
Of course he
next
does.
to me.
Yeah.
Puts his arm around me, pulls me into him, and starts petting my hair.
It's also weird in front of a family member.
Yeah.
It's just
We don't know
it's
each
just a
other like
weird,
that.
Weird
Ugh.
vibe.
That's also it's very intimate. Like that kind of gesture feels very, very intimate. That
Yeah.
like I don't want to do this. Like we just met. We
Yeah.
just met.
Yeah.
We've just had coffee together for a few minutes.
Yeah.
I got really uncomfortable as I was really caught off guard. My body language tenses up, and he said, "You need to relax. You're on a date. You're so tense."
Don't tell me what to do.
Ugh.
Don't tell me what to do.
So
ever.
we just kept talking, and I mentioned something about my hormonal condition. He said, "That makes sense. These are big," and poked my boob.
Wow.
Who just poke? No, I hate
too
that.
stunned to speak.
Obviously, I wasn't exactly amused, but I was in a weird spot and didn't feel super safe to get confrontational. So I just asked where the bathroom was so I could have an excuse to create some physical distance. He showed me to the bathroom, and I came out and I told him I needed to leave soon, to which Steve replied, "How do you know what time it even is? There's no clocks in here."
What?
Amazed that I used my phone, I sat back down on the opposite couch he was sitting on. He got up and moved to sit next to me and hold on to me again. He pulled my chin up and leaned in for a kiss.
Oh.
I decided I was just going to take one for the team and get the hell out of there. How
Ugh.
bad could it be? Well, he opened his mouth so wide,
Ugh.
he literally bit my chin.
Oh, he unhinged his jaw.
Oh,
Oh.
we got a
Fucking
we got an
unhinged.
alien
Python in here.
situation.
Oh my god.
What are you, like a viper? Just
Yes.
unhinge your jaw? Or what is that? Ugh. Nope, I was done here. I told him I needed to go home right now, and he asked me how long I had, and I said 15 mintes. He asked if I'd like to go upstairs to his bedroom to finish our conversation
15
real
minutes?
quick. I declined. I have to go now. He drives me back to my car, kisses me bye, and texts me later asking me to please have another date because we really connected. I said no thank you and blocked his number.
She's dabbing Neosporin on her chin where he bit her. Like,
I really hope he never behaves this way on a date again.
He
I'm
will.
so grateful to be in a relationship and no longer have to be dating.
What's so funny is he's like, 15 minutes. You want to go
I can
to
get
the
it in.
bedroom real quick? I'm like,
Honey, no, not even a little.
15 minutes? I'm like,
You played
first of all,
yourself. You told
played
on yourself.
You told
Yeah.
on yourself because I'm like, you're obviously not talking about my pleasure then.
No. Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
yikes.
No.
On bikes. Okay. This is a listener story. Okay. I met a fella on Tinder. He lived over 3 hours from my Canadian home in the US. How we matched, I'll never know. So we basically spent a couple of months chatting and getting to know each other as a meet was not possible. The opportunity arose for me to go for a visit, and since he lived in a ski resort area, I felt both adventurous enough and interested enough in a getaway to give the guy the benefit of the doubt.
Okay.
Not recommending this behavior, but simply telling my story. Listen.
No.
Okay,
Hey, I
yeah,
went to
hey.
Salt Lake City.
I know.
so-
I wasn't going to say it, but
Is this like a real Seattle Whistler type situation here we got going on?
Yeah.
this was a ski resort too. So she was probably like, oh, there's probably some fun touristy stuff to do there.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean not sitting in an apartment with somebody with an ankle
Who's
bracelet
on house arrest
Oh my.
in Salt Lake
God.
City?
In Salt Lake City.
Listen,
I'm not, I'm just.
Wow. That was a
moment.
What a
That was
time.
a whole thing that happened.
That was
She does say, though, not recommending this behavior, but simply telling my story. Anyway, things went well. He wasn't a serial killer.
Thank God.
And we had a jovial chemistry that verged on being immediately friend-zoned. I think the panic of that realization led us to the boudoir. And, well, one thing led to another, as they say. It wasn't great. In the morning, attempt 2 started out pretty rocky, but since I'm not one to be a quitter, I followed his direction to see if things could improve. Communication. We love it. We love to see it. This guy enjoyed having his balls massaged.
Okay.
I had never actually entertained this type of request before, but I gave it a shot. They were sweaty and it was awkward. Sweaty ball sack.
God. I gotta love how self-conscious I get about
I know.
like someone going down
Oh.
or whatever, and like
men don't care at
No.
all.
they do not
Uh-uh.
care. And it is like all the stuff about like women being so like, oh my God, about how we smell down there. And I'm like,
Honey.
we just need to act like dudes.
I mean, we had
because-
entire, like when we were at your house for your birthday, Christina, we had a whole conversation. All the girls chimed in on a whole conversation about like how we shave parts of our bodies that we can't see, like the like pretzel positions that we get into in the shower to like make sure that that entire area is like shaved when we can't even see
it.
back
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Like the energy that we put in to like looking a certain way and like maintaining that
cleanliness
space
and everything.
groom.
Yep.
when a man will just show up and just like put his dick and balls on the table, like it's ridiculous. Anyway, they were sweaty and it was awkward. Then all of a sudden I perked up. What's this? I said, you have a third ball?
Oh no, that's not a thing.
To which he replied, yeah, of course I do.
Oh no, honey.
What?
What? This prompted a from me, as I had heard of that anomaly, but had never been in its presence. Now, I mentioned earlier the direction our friendship was going. Very lighthearted, lots of silliness and teasing. However, he must have detected my true amazement as he suddenly pulled back and insisted I do not have a third ball.
Oh,
I gently took his hand and introduced my discovery and replied, yes, you do.
Oh no.
And that was the end of the date/weekend/ any romantic notions. Hard to think of anything but dying after such a discovery. Thankfully, it was not a tumor, but simply a buildup of undissolved sperm.
What?
Did you know that could happen?
No.
Okay, so full disclosure, my husband, when he got
Vasectomy?
his vasectomy,
Uh-huh.
he always thought he had 3 balls. He was like, yeah, that's a thing that can happen.
Yeah.
And his doctor was like, that's absolutely not a thing.
It's
that can
not?
happen. That's what his doctor told him. Now, I'm not a doctor. I'm only repeating what another doctor has told my husband, in which he was like, 3 balls is not actually like a real thing. Normally it is usually not detrimental or deadly or anything like that, but many times it's just like a cyst. Yep. A lot of times people have cysts or whatever, and he's like, but it's not quote unquote a normal
That is
thing
interesting because I always thought that it was,
I did too. So did
happen,
Chris. Well, Chris was like, he'd felt it before, but he was like, kind of felt like he was like, it's something he always had, but it was a cyst and they had to remove it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So when he got his vasectomy, they told him that. And so anyway,
but I certainly didn't know that you could have just like a clump of undissolved sperm in there.
Did not know that.
Yeah.
Just a buildup of, what do? They just work it out?
Also, I feel like that means you should jack off. Like, right? So all those times those people are telling you not to masturbate, I think they're wrong.
Also, I think...
Yeah, what does cause a buildup of undissolved sperm?
I think let's normalize being not as self-conscious about things that are happening down there.
Yeah.
I was just reading this Reddit the other day about a woman that was really nervous because she was going on a third date with a guy that she really, really liked, and she was spotting. So it was like end of period spotting. And she's like, I don't know what to do. Should I cancel the date or whatever? And it's like, so it was so nice to read the amount of comments from men in there that were like, just give a heads up. But it was like, you're in your 30s. Like we've dated women. Like it's not a fucking mystery that you guys are on your period. Like,
yeah.
Right.
And it's not a big deal.
I don't know why you would cancel the date anyway, because it's like, even if you're not comfortable having sex on your period, which some people aren't. I personally don't like it, although spotting is a little different, but I could see that if it's early on, whatever.
Right.
But I mean, you just go in, and if things get to that point, then you explain that at that point. If it's someone that you like and you trust, then it shouldn't be a problem. Like
you said a lot.
But especially, but that guy knows it's there. That guy has touched his penis before. So like if he likes his balls massaged, she can be like, hey, just a heads up, I have a thing down there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
It's not.
Although his initial reaction was like, "Of course I do." So I don't know if he thought it was just he got
Everybody
failed
does.
in sex ed or something.
Right.
I don't know.
Huh.
But the last sentence says he told his mother all about it and how I found it. Which
okay, that went too far.
I really feel like you could have told mom without going into detail about how
it's
that occurred.
Discovery. But you could have been like,
you got your own
in the
hands?
shower.
Yeah, you got your own hands. But thank you so much for writing that story into us. Much appreciated.
So glad we got
man.
that out there.
All right, mine I got from Reddit. This I don't know why this is so funny to me. It's just a very strange situation. So I'll just get into it. I have to share my worst first date story. I was much younger and stupider at the time. Nowadays, I'd have bailed at the beginning.
I love that this is the preamble to so many stories where you're just like, look, I was an idiot. I know. I know.
Chatted with someone new on OkCupid. She seemed okay, lived about 20 minutes away, and was up for going to grab a casual dinner at a nearby sports bar a few miles away from her. The next evening, entrees ran about $15, so it was nothing fancy. So I texted her when I was leaving to say I was looking forward to seeing her there, and she texted back to say, hey, I don't have a car. You'll need to pick me up from my apartment. Well, okay, I got her apartment complex's address. It was on the way, and I figured no big deal, though I was quietly surprised this hadn't been mentioned before then. I called when I reached the place, and she wandered out. I was glad she wasn't a catfish, and I greeted her and put the sports bar's address in my GPS. She immediately said, hey, I actually have a better idea.
Oh, no. Oh, no. I feel like it's not going to be a better idea. Why do I feel that?
Also, it just is. I'm wary immediately when people want to change the plans.
Yeah.
Like once we're together, I'm like, no, we had a plan.
We had a plan.
Let's stick to the plan.
Exactly. She told me that her aunt lives nearby.
Oh, no.
Makes some delicious home cooking.
No.
And that we could go visit her and get a good meal for only $5 a plate.
Why are you paying your aunt?
Wait, what? Is your aunt McDonald's? This should be at Wendy's?
What? What are you doing?
What?
You're trying to throw some business your aunt's way.
I fucking love you guys because that's immediately the same reaction I had when I read it. I was like, wait.
Hold on.
What?
Hold on.
What is
No.
happening?
What? That's so weird.
No.
$5 a plate, guys. I said, that's nice. But I really wasn't up for meeting family on a first date, and I'd rather just get to know her somewhere public. She really pushed for the $5 dinner.
No.
And
Does she get a cut of it or like what's
Right?
why?
Some kickback?
Yeah. And I stuck with no. She said, okay, she could go get something from there, and that way her dinner would only cost $5.
She just really wants some of her aunt's fried chicken or something?
I mean,
like
maybe it's so good. I said, what the fuck? And I clarified that she was suggesting that we drive to her aunt's house. I pay her aunt to feed her, and she eats there. And then what? She said, well, then we can go to the sports bar and I'll just watch you eat.
Why?
Why? None of this makes any fucking
weird.
sense.
Fucking
What is
weird, right?
happening?
Can you imagine sitting in a car and having this discussion with
No.
somebody? It's so bizarre.
Also, presumably, you've said that you don't want to meet her aunt, so she's going to go in,
By
get a
herself.
plate of food, and eat it in
by
the car,
herself?
or eat it by herself.
And
like,
while
it's
he waits there,
in the car, like-
and then they go to the sports bar and she watches him eat.
I'm sorry.
Why don't we just meet later for a drink?
Yeah,
Why are we doing this?
You go eat with your aunt, and we can meet up later, or not at all.
Or
because
not at
now I
all.
feel
Now
very
why you
weird.
gotta pay
your aunt $5 to eat.
What is happening?
The real question: why
That
are you
is the
paying
real-
your aunt?
That's right.
Like unless your aunt runs a restaurant or
Thank
something,
you.
in which case I'd be like, yeah, pay your friends and family
For sure.
for their like the work they put in. But I'm like,
A home cooked meal.
like,
I gotta
bitch,
pay $5.
You can't get a Big Mac meal for $5 anymore.
No.
So like, what
What are you paying for? Are you paying for the plastic utensils
the
and
pleasure of eating with your aunt.
What is going on?
Oh no.
I need more information.
Oh my gosh. So I told her this was not really a date and maybe we should try this some other time. She said, oh, okay, we can go out, but do you mind if we drive by the aunt's house anyways? Because
what is happening?
I left my glasses there last
No,
night and I need to
honey.
pick them up.
All right, why does she want you to go to the aunt's
Honey.
house so badly? Like, is she
Right.
trying to hook you up with her aunt?
What is going on,
I
right?
don't understand. I honestly, I'm getting creeped out, and I
This
would want to
is-
take her home. Like,
No,
I feel very
I'm
creeped out.
done.
Yeah.
In fact, why don't you just go to your aunt's house? I'm going to drop you off and leave.
Exactly.
I feel like is this a trap?
Yeah, I'm feeling very uncomfortable.
So I reluctantly said, sure. It was a few miles away, and we pulled up at the front of a kind of rundown little house in a bad neighborhood. She
No.
asked if I'd like to come in, and I
No.
said, no, thanks. She then hopped out of the car and held out her hand. I asked what
said
she
no.
wanted, and she rolled her eyes and said, the $5. I said,
I I
She tricked.
what is happening?
right?
I can't stop laughing. I'm so sorry.
What is happening?
I am so glad you guys find this as funny as I do because I'm just like, I was reading this, I was like, first thing this morning, and I'm like, I'm so confused as to what is going on right now.
I would leave her there. I'm sorry. Like, I'd be like, in fact, I'd give her the $5 and I'd be like, bye.
Yeah, screeching tires, man. That's all you're hearing.
Go have a drink by yourself. Call your
Honestly,
buddies.
I'd be like, your glasses cost $5 now? What is going
What
on?
is going on?
You owe your aunt $5.
False
Just say
pretense.
it. Just say you owe your aunt $5. Fine. Whatever.
I said, no, we're still not doing that. Did you actually need something from here, or were you just hoping I'd forget on the way over? She said no, she needed her glasses, but was I sure? Because this is the cheapest meal we could ever get.
Oh my
I said,
God.
I'm paying
No.
for dinner. Don't worry
don't
about
worry
it.
about it. Really?
What's going on?
What in the fuck is happening?
She said, okay. And she went in. It literally is typed out that way. Okay. And she went in. For a moment, I thought about driving away
You
because
should've.
this really clearly wasn't someone I was going to want to see again. Then I thought, she doesn't have a car. There's no other cars parked here. She's several miles from home
I
at
think her
night in
aunt
a
can
bad
get her
neighborhood.
home. I think it's fine.
I can't
Leave
just
her.
leave her here to walk back. This guy's so
She's
nice.
with her aunt.
She's
like,
with her aunt. It's family.
fine.
Well, she's with an aunt that's going to charge her $5 to eat. So I don't know how much aunts charge for rides home, but
Yeah. Sounds like this one might
exactly.
have a high price.
She came back out in a few minutes and hopped in the car. I asked her if she found her glasses, and she said, "What?"
Oh my
this
God.
bitch. This bitch.
You have, okay, first of all, Just no. At least remember what you're lying about.
Lie better.
Lie better.
Lie better. Oh my God. She said, "Oh no, they weren't there." I asked if we should just call
Like
it
your breath
quits.
smells like fried chicken. What were you doing?
What were you doing in there? Oh my God. I asked if we should just call it quits for the night. She said, "No, let's just go to the sports bar." Foolishly, I did. At the sports bar, she spent a long time staring at the menu. She could not decide on any of the things on that menu. Finally, she walked the waiter through a magically concocted off-menu request with steak and shrimp and a whole lot of craziness.
She is punishing this man for
Yes.
not getting that $5 meal.
That's right.
She's like, I'm going to order the most expensive thing on this menu because you should have listened to me. He should have left her there.
Yeah.
Then she also ordered a large platter of chicken nuggets, an actual
Okay.
$15 entree / shareable appetizer. The nuggets came out at the same time as my burger, but she didn't eat a single one of them.
What a bitch.
About 20 minutes later, her off-menu monstrosity came out, and she made it through about half of it.
Of course.
She reminded me frequently that it would have been much
Oh,
cheaper
this
to have
bitch.
eaten
I
at her aunt's house.
Hate her.
I said, based on the fact that she just ordered off menu and got 2 different entrees, I could see that she was determined to make the case. She said, "So you don't date much, huh?" Well, when she was done eating, she had the waiter box up her huge off-menu leftovers and then completely untouched giant pile of nuggets, and I took her back home and drove away. I do credit her for having given me that experience, since the next time I ran into someone who ordered 2 entrees and only ate one, I cheerfully scooped up the other one and took it with
That's
me.
right.
instead.
Ma'am.
That's
Oh,
right.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh my gosh. Oh, wow. That was a
Journey, dude.
I need to know more
I need
about
to know
that
about
family
the aunt's
situation.
Aunt's house, the $5 meal,
What's
man.
going on in there? I kind of wish he'd gone in just so we could know. Like,
No. I am glad that he did not. That is a trap.
no, I mean, we just did an episode on fried green tomatoes, and yeah, you don't know what's going on in there. What if they would have killed you and
Listen.
put you in barbecue?
I don't. Listen. Oh,
I do think she just owed her aunt $5.
that okay. Thank
Honestly.
you.
It's
Exactly.
$5.
And she was like, "Hey, give me some food real quick."
Yeah, let me eat some of this. Wow,
Damn.
a journey.
Wow. Okay. Well, Cassie, you've got the Tainted Love this week.
I sure do. Okay, so my Tainted Love. First of all, I have to give a shout out to Rachel Moore, who sent this to us via Instagram.
Mhm. Awesome.
Yes. So she sent an article that was from a Tumblr, and it was
She's been a worstie forever. Shout out to her.
Yeah.
Yes.
Power Privilege Money Tumblr. And so the article there was had a lot of information, but it wasn't like necessarily it read kind of funny. So I was like,
Okay.
I kind of at first I was like, this is a fake story. I literally
you
read
thought
it and
was
I
like
was
a
like,
creepypasta.
I did. I was
Okay.
like, this is so the way I read it was like, this isn't real. So I did a little diving. I was like, okay. So I found the person and I was like, okay, they do have a grave. And then their like Find My Grave had like their memorial almost exactly word for word what was in the thing. And I was like, okay, is there like somebody just going around writing creepy pastas about people and then finding like old people's graves and writing like stories about them? I mean, that's where my head was going. I was
Please
like,
let
this
that
is
be
like
my
a whole-
legacy. I want that to be my legacy. I want to die, and then I just want
Someone to
teenagers
make
on the
like
internet.
a creepy pasta
Yeah,
about
just
it.
create some bullshit.
This person looks like this. And
Yeah.
so I was like determined. I was like, okay, well, if this is real, I'm going to find real articles. So
Right.
I did.
Wow.
I found.
did the work.
Oh, Jesus, did I? And fucking how. Dude, I was spent literally all day yesterday just doing the research.
I gotta be honest. I admire it. I admire it because, like, look, I oftentimes leave my Tainted Loves to like the day before.
Oh, I did.
And then I'm like, I cannot like go like investigating,
Yeah.
go like find a graving this situation. So great.
So I got some of my information from a blog called Half Pudding, Half Sauce. I also found an article from Time magazine. The article has no byline, but it's from 1964. I found an original article from a Justice story from Reading Eagle by Ruth Reynolds that was written around the same time, 1964. So these are everything I found was actual newspaper clippings. It was like having to like stretch it out, make it really big and like slide along.
God bless newspapers.com.
Oh God, newspapers.com. Oh,
journey. So
that's fun though.
So let me tell you, first of all, I just want to, this is a sad story.
Oh,
Okay. The story is about Marjorie Winfield Kendall, who was born in 1897, the daughter of a telegrapher for the railroads in Missouri.
Okay.
So I'm looking at you again.
I know. It's
Keegan,
okay.
always.
Yeah, it's a Winfield in Missouri.
A Winifred.
Winifred. Oh,
Yes.
okay. Great, great.
Winifred.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, did I say Winifred?
Yes, you did.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's
I gave everything
It's
over
all good.
to you. She was born Marjorie Winifred Kendall.
Okay.
Sorry. Maybe the Winifred and Kendall I got put together and
All
then it was
good.
all you. Born in Missouri, again, to a telegrapher for the railroads. She moved to New York when she was fairly young, like, as soon as she could.
Off to the big city.
Yeah. The Time magazine article describes her as a tall, blonde beauty. She starts dancing as a Ziegfeld girl, and it seems that this is where she catches the eye of a Wallace C. Bird. Wallace was a wealthy with a capital W, a capital E, a capital A, a capital L, a capital T, a capital H, and a capital Y.
All right.
This mofo is wealthy.
He got money. Okay.
He's the heir of a Standard Oil investor.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
He got that Standard Oil money.
I'm feeling very like Gilded Age vibes right now. Yeah.
Perfect that you say that because this is exactly the area that we are stepping into.
Oh,
Soon
love it.
enough, he's winning over Winnie, and they get married and settle on Long Island near Oyster Bay and the Farnworth estate, which is exactly that, a Gilded Age mansion estate.
Oh, wow.
This is an elaborate 80-acre, 50-room estate that features horse stables, gardens, decadent pool, and it literally is like a masterpiece of the Gilded Age. It is
can't
absolutely that.
even comprehend that kind of wealth. Like
Yeah.
that's just
I think we all do it sometimes, like Zillow porn.
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah.
You can't Zillow porn this. This isn't even in the this is
Yeah.
like family wealth.
Generational
Yeah,
wealth.
generational.
Every time I look at a property that's like even close to being that big, I'm like, ugh, like
Feels
I
too
just
much,
I'm
doesn't it?
tired clean that much. I get tired cleaning my 1-bedroom West
You're
Hollywood
not
apartment.
cleaning
You're
it.
not.
That's the
But I'm
thing.
like, if you have that kind of money, you ain't cleaning.
Well, it's exactly like
the
I mean,
house.
if you watch the show Gilded Age, which I have been keeping up with watching it, but
Me
like
too.
yeah, I mean like you're not managing your own like
Staff,
household
anything.
at all.
No.
Like it's like you have staff
Yes.
for every little thing.
Well,
So
so
it's
much
like,
so that they have staff homes. So they have like the superintendent for their
Right.
property has
Yeah.
his own house, and the houses that they have for like their superintendent, they're like nice houses.
Girl,
Yeah.
one of my regulars at my old job, like his job was to be like basically a property supervisor.
Yeah.
So like there's a lot of money in LA that doesn't live in LA. They come from like overseas and they have these huge houses. And so his job is to like when they come here, he manages
Yeah. Their
everything.
properties. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's, I mean,
and a good gig too. Like when we were
Honestly.
reading The Five, that novel or that book
Oh,
about
I love that book.
the victims of Jack the Ripper, like that was a huge thing. Like if you could get a gig where like you lived as like a live-in kind of like
manager.
or even just like a servant or a driver or whatever, where you got your own like
Yeah.
home on someone else's estate, that was a big deal.
Yeah,
you
we
know?
used to have a friends that we don't anymore, but they had a place that they used to manage the entire building. They had a beautiful apartment
Oh, yeah.
That they got for free because they managed
Yep.
the building.
Yeah.
So anyway, they were living in luxury,
Mhm.
Yeah.
like full luxury.
Big
Wallace-
come up from Missouri. Hi.
Oh, honey. And I mean, beautiful woman. And it's funny because one of the articles I read was like, she wasn't into him. He was shorter than her. And I'm like, and literally nothing else that I read said that. And I was like, okay, well, I don't know. It seems as though they had a nice relationship and a good marriage because, they lived in this beautiful place. They threw lavish parties. They were just real socialites. They did the thing. They were on the scene. There was no real tell of them not ever being just a happy couple. So
Right.
they just have a beautiful life. He is, and neither of them have to do really anything from what I can understand. I mean, he's just inherited all the wealth. So they have a beautiful property, horses. She wanted to be a film star, so he would record her and he would film her doing scenes. And it was just like a really, I mean, I can imagine it being a really fun life. Right?
Yeah.
He had an affinity for cars, though. He had a 27 car garage, and that was like his thing. He loved
Jay
Too
Leno.
many. Yeah. And
Yes.
too many cars.
had
like,
a real car fetish, and so like this was like his jam. He collected cars, but their love affair came to an abrupt end only 15 years after they had moved into this home. And in 1941, Wallace crashed his private sports plane near upstate New York, and it was a devastating blow to her. She ended up moving immediately into the superintendent's
guest
home.
Yeah.
Superintendent's home, because she was like, I don't want to be in this house. She had his the crash, all of the remains from the crash boxed up and sent to the house and put into the sub basement.
So it does seem like there was some love there. There's like feeling between them at least. You know.
She was so devastated
Yeah.
that she went into a really deep state of depression and ended up going to Doctor's Hospital in Manhattan and, going to the hospital as like an inpatient.
Yeah.
But they said that she was kind of an eccentric woman, and she only packed, they said, silk nightgowns and dress clothes. So she would sleep all day and go out at night. I'm like, what kind of hospital is this?
Yeah, really. They're like, we have a come and go policy
Apparently,
here. Like,
she's got the come and go money is what she got. She was like,
Well,
I
that's-
do what I want.
that's what I was going to say is it's so interesting when you look back at history that like everything changes and nothing changes, where like if you have that kind of wealth for a certain amount of time, you are not part of reality anymore. Like you just don't know what like people do anymore.
Some of those like actual like Gilded Age balls. First of all, I had no idea that they started like people would literally leave their houses at 11 o'clock at night to go to these like balls.
Well,
so
they were
I'm
all
like,
on
that's
cocaine.
so funny
Amen.
because I'm like, it really was like old timey clubbing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like the heaviest dress you've ever seen in your whole fucking life. But yeah.
But they would like wear costumes and stuff, and it's really cool. I really, we're both watching the Gilded Age.
I wanna watch it too.
Yeah.
I want it to be more like that.
Right now
Yeah.
it's very much they're really, I mean, I'm still very much enjoying it, but it's a lot of the like political kind of society sort of stuff right now, which I am enjoying, but definitely I'm like, give me some spice,
spicy balls.
Give me
I want
some
spicy
golden
balls.
age.
Yeah, I want to see
Gilded.
because if I'm having to watch rich people, I want to watch rich people do like just over the top rich people shit.
Yeah.
Like, give me some like Gatsby level partying.
Yes.
Correct.
So, I mean, that's kind of the life that they had is that Gatsby level life. I mean, really excess to the max. And, even from Doctor's Hospital, it seems as though she was still semi-living her life.
She's like, I'll be back in the morning.
Yeah.
Bye.
But apparently, I don't know what drives someone to, submit themselves into a hospital to then be like, just sleep all day and then go out. I don't know. Like maybe that's loneliness. Maybe that's,
Right.
I don't know where that comes from. It's definitely
like
a
she
sense of
didn't-
depression. There's definitely something going on there.
It's not like she didn't have the money to have people, she had all, it's not like she needed
didn't have
someone to
anything
take
she
care
wants.
of her
Yeah.
because like you could have hired in-house help to take care of you.
Well, she did. Yeah.
So it's just like,
I think big picture, she brought that plane back. She put it in the house and that house is now ghost. They said that she left literally to go put herself in the hospital. She left the house, windows open, just was like, bye, and did not look back. I think she wanted to separate herself from that entirely. I think that there was a love there that was really real.
Yeah.
I think that there was devastation that she couldn't even comprehend to the point where she was just like, I need to remove myself from it.
and maybe she wanted to be in the city too, because like sometimes I feel like people need to get out of that quietness of the country, even if it's just to go to the city, just because the city is so busy that it can like fill your brain with stuff.
Hi, I'm right here. You're speaking to me. Do I need the brain to put noises in my head so I don't put my own in? Yeah. It's great for that. The thing is that she had initially at this time, this is 1941, she did want to move to Europe, and she was like, but at the time the war was happening, so it seems to that delayed her trip, her plan.
1951, is that what you said? 41. Okay.
Is when he had passed. So she did spend some time, like I said, in the city, a lot of time in the hospital. And never ended up living back in the home ever again. And she did, by 1948, move to Europe. And she made a home for herself in one of the hotels in Paris. And she made a home for herself as well in Lausanne, Switzerland.
What
so
life.
I know, right? Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Can't
But
even imagine.
the funny thing is that at this time, you know, as she's living kind of this lap of luxury life still, kind of a little bit, there is a quote in the Time article, and you should also remember that both of these articles were written in 1964. So neither of them are pulling any punches in the way that they represent people. But the Time quote is, Winnie was a joke on the society scene.
Oof.
At 51, her beauty faded. She was a hopeless hypochondriac who existed on spaghetti and prunes. I mean, they came hot for her.
Wow.
It's really rude.
They came for her. Like, they just do not describe her as nice at all. Like, they just really... So just know anything I'm saying nice about her is because of my own speculative, just like trying to be nice to this person, because they are just...
Yeah, I mean, society snobbery is real. So.
Well, and also, like, when hasn't the United States not hated women?
Oh, okay.
Like,
especially women of a certain age.
Okay.
Like, once you lose your quote unquote value, meaning your youth, like...
I mean... Beauty faded, hopeless hypochondriac, existed on spaghetti and prunes. Also, where do I see myself in 40 years? Same. I mean...
Also, yeah, God forbid you're dealing with any mental health issues whatsoever. Because that's a moral failing, clearly.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. When he was, though, I mean, for all that being said, when he was still doing okay, she had plenty of money. She inherited all of her husband's fortune.
Yeah.
I mean, there was
let
no
me
one
tell
to
you
with.
how much I would care about anybody if I
crying into your wads of cash.
She literally 100%, because I mean, at that time she's getting $300,000 a year as her just annual, like,
in 1940s money.
Yeah. I mean, so we're talking like and that's just interest on, not like, she's not cutting into the wealth.
Right.
That's just her annual.
Oh my God.
That's just her annual. Like,
I'd like
no
that
big
in
deal.
2022 money, please.
Okay, please. And thank you. So because of that, though, it seems the way that they want to say it is because she had money. She also was lucky enough to buy herself friends. I don't know that that's true, but I do know that she has built herself a little bit of an entourage. In that entourage, it includes a Nicholas Sturza. He is a quote unquote prince who has
so many fake princes, I
princes.
feel like, in the 20th century. Like, everybody's just like, I'm a prince. I'm a Shah.
Lots of princes. Yeah.
Yeah.
He claims to be a prince. He says that during the war, his family land was devastated, of course, by the war. And he's from, a Romanian, whatever.
Down on his luck.
Yeah, just a real down on his luck guy. They lost all their wealth, but he is a prince, and he does, for some reason, have a lot of ends in the society life. And so she doesn't really think too much of it when she meets him at a party in 1950 at this point. And, she's just like, you're so much better than just a hat salesman. And as a prince, you should not have to be doing a job. Like, why don't you come work for me as my own personal, like, companion, and also my quote unquote secretary. But it seems as though, like, a lot of for somebody who was so, despite being a real joke on the society scene, they seem to still want to write about her, still keen to tell you stories about this joke on the society scene, and that she was, like, in love with Nikki and they were going to get married. And, like, it seems as though society saw them as a couple. The Time article, though, said that at that point, Nikki had been arrested twice for being homosexual. So I don't know if she had known that, if he was playing her. I don't know where that lives.
In their relationship.
In their relationship. Yeah. But she lived at a hotel, like I said, in Paris, and the people at the hotel were just like, she was obnoxious. They, like, said the Time article said that they hated her, and the article I read from the Reading newspaper, they were like, hated her. She had 2 dogs named Timothy and Snooky. I'm sorry, a dog named Timothy.
I was about to say that. A dog named Timothy is hilarious.
And I love it.
I
Little Timmy.
love naming animals people names.
That's
I think
favorite.
it's
so
it's
funny.
awesome.
Timothy.
Timothy, get off the couch.
Oh,
I love it.
I love it.
It's so funny.
It's so funny because it's so hard to tell the story because I feel for this woman.
But
I
then
do too,
we
be-
also like there is this part of me that's also like eat the rich.
Yeah.
That's also
Oh,
like she
truly.
probably there is a possibility she could have been just an awful
True.
wench to deal with. Like when you have that kind of money where you don't really have to be confronted with the consequences of your actions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, exactly.
And
That's kind of what I meant when I said like everything changes, but nothing changes. In that, like when you have this kind of obscene wealth, it does rewire your brain. Like there's actually science behind it.
Yeah,
like
life
wealth
is
and
so
power
different.
rewires your brain. And it actually, you know, I read a really interesting article talking about like how the mirror receptors in your brain shut off in the uber wealthy in the same way, and in the uber powerful in the same way they would if you had a traumatic brain injury.
Oh,
so
wow.
your ability to like empathize with people who are
Yep.
less fortunate with you
But she wasn't
drastically
raised that way.
decreases. Yes, but how like Kanye wasn't raised that way either.
So anyway, the hotel that she was staying at said, you know, like I said, they were like, oh, she's awful to deal with, but we did feel really bad for her when her nightgown caught on fire because of the heater in her room. So she ended up in the hospital. She was because of like her nightgown caught on fire. They had to take her to the hospital. She was in the hospital for quite a long time. This is when she gets hooked on barbiturates, though.
Oh
Yeah.
no. And this is probably the 50s. I feel like
Yep.
that was such a common story.
Yeah. At that time, Nikki, who is her companion still, her paid companion, who's being paid $1,000 a week to be her secretary / companion.
Where can I get that job?
Amen. Still, today's money would take it. Nikki does find a Dr. Savoy, who in 1958 is brought on with an $18,000 retainer and is paid $1,500 a month to take care of her once she gets out of the hospital. The doctor does keep her heavily medicated and as she's healing, which I think she probably needs initially.
Yeah, burn.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, like imagine how ill you are that you would have to that pain that you'd be in. So, but as of July of 1961, when he passes, it would have been easy to conclude that she had probably just, you know, anything could have happened. I mean, this woman had kind of been through a lot. So, you know, Winnie at some point though did let Dr. Savoy go. And but he had still was keeping her in supply of barbiturates through a local druggist, and Nikki
would pick it up
and make sure that she always had them available. So much so that they said 18,000 of them.
18,000.
Yes, pills.
18,000.
That's a lot of pills.
Wow.
Pills, were prescribed to her.
Well, I'd be really interested to see what her will looks like.
Well, that's so funny. You should ask, because this all comes to a head because her lawyer, Mr. Edward Watts, was headed to meet her. He had been working for her. He had taken over for somebody who had left the thing. The estate had always been handled by this firm, by this law firm. And Edward Watts was actually headed to Europe to meet her, because he had heard that she was sick. So he wanted to make sure that she was all taken care of. There were some weird things that happened. She had asked personally for her original will to be sent over because there might be some changes she wanted to make. Mm-hmm. So there was some weird things going on that he wanted to step in and find out what the scoop was.
Right.
She had been an expat for a while, but he literally arrives the day after she passes. So he arrives in Europe to find out that she had passed, I think either that morning or the morning before that he arrived. So it was very, like, he was headed there to make sure that she, you know, to find out what was going on. And it all just happened to be. But the thing is that Watts had only known that she had a broken leg. It was a very weird situation. There's a lot of like really sketchy things. So he's the one who brought it to the attention of like bringing this up. Like, he's like, okay, so we're, you know, there's just a lot of suspicion going on. And so when he arrives, he knows that she has a lot of jewels that she had spent money on. He knows that she has a will. All these things are missing from her places. Like they're not there. So he's like, hey, Nikki, Secretary Nikki, companion Nikki, whatever happened to all these jewels that she had? What happened to all of, like, where's her will? I don't know. It's all shoulders from Nikki. He has no clue where all of this stuff is. And so Sturza, who is Nikki, he asked at some point before all this, he had asked the banker, her Swiss banker, for $10,000 of the $55,000 that she had been getting transferred into that bank. He was like, can we have $10,000 of that? And the banker was like, I can't just authorize that. I really need to see her. And he's like, well, she's just not well.
Okay, well, then I can't give you the money. I don't know what you want me to do.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
He's like, I can't do it. I need to see her.
I appreciate that from that banker because, like, a lot of times in these stories, they're like, oh, good point. Okay, well, here's the money. And you're like, what? I don't feel like
that's
good
you can do security.
That. Yeah.
So
Exactly.
he's like, no problem. I'll come to you. And so he comes to the home or her place in Switzerland where she stayed in Lausanne, and turned away first 2 times. She's just too ill. And the 3rd time he does make it in, and he describes in quotes, she was in a shocking state, weak, crazy-eyed, incoherent in speech, arm in a sling. She had ordered everyone out of the room.
She's hopped up on like however many pills.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, everybody leave except for the guy who was there from the bank. And she's like, when they were alone, quote, when alone, she whispered, I am in great danger. They broke my arm. Cable my New York bank and have them send me 2 armed American bodyguards.
Wow. I can't believe that they let her be alone with him in the room.
Well, funny enough, he did reach out to the consulate, but then he reached out a couple days later and was like, never mind. She was, a little out of it and wasn't lucid.
What? Oh my God. Though that's people not respecting women or the elderly.
Yep.
Yes, absolutely.
51.
Yeah.
I mean, that's barely elderly. I mean, in the 50s.
In the 50s.
Well, back then that was probably.
But it's also a woman on pills, right?
Yeah.
Where like the mentality, this is still a time.
Hysterical.
Right. This is still a time when you could literally like lock a woman in an insane asylum just because you didn't like the way she was
lobotomize
behaving.
them.
Yeah. So like that's not.
Yeah. So at this point, though, Dr. Savoy is, still in charge of her. I mean, and she's frightened. She has definitely like reached out to people and has asked for help, but everybody's just kind of like, well, she's a bit of a
she's
quote,
eccentric,
crazy lady,
right, yeah.
She's
like
an eccentric person. She takes drugs. We can't be trusted, So they have created, Nikki and Dr. Savoy have really created the scenario around her where she's kind of isolated now. And the only one that seems to be taking this seriously is her American bank, who is like probably just looking out for their fortune.
Oh, they
don't give a shit probably about her.
Yeah, they're like, make sure there's nothing shady in the will where we're going to lose this amazing lucrative
account.
Estate.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But again, by the time he gets there, but it's because he gets there that the flags are raised. In her last days, the one of the nurses that was on staff had called a different doctor because Dr. Savoy was out of town. And this is literally days before Watts arrives. And this other doctor was like, oh my God, she needs blood transfusions immediately. And he ordered all of this stuff. And they were like, and then so Dr. Savoy comes in the nick of time and he's like, oh, don't worry about those. Don't worry. I'm just going to give her this shot. And the shot was enough to basically just knock her out. And a powerful sedative, basically, that eventually she just dies. And he is the one who's the doctor on scene. So he just marks her
cause of death
as a double hemorrhage, a double cerebral hemorrhage. No big deal.
We say it all the time on this podcast, but like, y'all got to get yourself some friends who you can trust to look out for your interests.
And it is not a prince.
That's harder to do though when you have that amount of money.
True.
You see it all the time with
can't trust
lottery
people.
winners
Yeah.
and everything like that. And it's tragic. It's hard enough to trust people day in, day out when you don't have that massive amount of wealth, for them to take advantage of. And it's
But it sounds
sad.
like her relationship with her husband was so insular. Like they had all these parties and stuff like that, but it doesn't seem like she had a lot of
true, genuine friends.
Right. Like outside of that. And maybe it would be different if you could have had someone to lean on when your husband passed away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Which doesn't sound like she did.
No.
Well, it might have been the time too. I mean, we're seeing the same thing with the Gilded Age where she got brought into money. She's not from money the way her husband is. So I'm sure that she didn't get that connection with other people in that class because they probably turned their noses up at her.
Yeah, there was
for
probably
sure,
a lot
especially when he was gone.
Judgment. Yeah, that's true.
And you're thinking too, she moved to New York, she met this guy, and all during a very crucial age when you do start to make friends and female friends and stuff.
Well, and she probably left all of the friends because she probably did make friends when she first moved to New York.
Well, she made friends in high school too. They had interviewed somebody she went to school with, and they, fondly referred to her by her nickname, and
she was a Ziegfeld girl, which means that they probably like went out and stuff together. But yeah, you have to drop all of those people when you enter a certain class in society.
Well, they moved away from it.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, that was the city, but you're now in Long Island, which is it's close enough, but it's also
not
a world
days.
apart.
Yeah,
it's also a world apart. Oyster Bay, you're like in a totally different world.
Yeah.
At any rate, they did investigate deeper because of Watts, because of the attorneys from the U.S. were like, this is sus. They did find all of her jewels. Well, no, they didn't find all of them. They found a lot of the jewels in Sousa's very own personal safe. And they found parts of her will in the safe, everything except for the signed last page. Like, there was a lot of really suspect stuff. And then he was like, oh, yeah, but she told me to do that because she said those jewels would be mine. They came to find out, the investigators did a lot of digging, and they found out that when she went to buy the jewels, she was so dosed that she barely was coherent in any of the trips that she went to buy the jewels.
It's
that
so
they
sad.
basically just dosed the shit out of her and took her
shopping.
Took her shopping.
God, that is so sad.
What's going to make you even more upset, though, is that Dr. Savoy did lose his license, but the only time he gets for murder is 7 years. 7 years for premeditated murder. And Nick, for the robbery and for the scamming, basically only gets 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's just a sad, tragic story to see like someone who could have had probably an amazing life got so swindled and so taken advantage of.
Right.
And,
and grief and loneliness do things to a person and like that. It's just so, that's so sad.
It's just me. I just kept picturing her as the Jennifer Coolidge from White Lotus.
Oh, I still have not watched White Lotus. I know I need to watch it.
But I keep, when you were telling that
Mirren in my head
story, I kept picturing Jennifer Coolidge because she's so sad. That whole thing is she's trying to, get rid of her mother or whatever. Oh my God. It just... good story. I'd never heard of it before.
I hadn't either, and it was like I said, when I first read the original Tumblr article, I was like, this doesn't even sound real.
Dude, there are some really interesting Gilded Age heiresses who were like hermits.
Oh yeah,
like what's her name? Henrietta.
Yep, I read that book.
Yeah, it's good. So yeah, good one. Well, what are you guys watching this week?
I'm not really watching anything new. I mean, I think I told you guys last week that I had finally watched Judas and the Black Messiah, which highly recommend, of course. Like, that's a story everybody should know about. I mean, having grown up with this kind of like Black Panthers are terrorist propaganda that I feel like was definitely something that I grew up with. It's important to educate yourself on COINTELPRO and everything that happened around that. So I would recommend watching that movie. But mostly I've been reading. I've just been reading. So like that's what I've been up to. I read Sally Rooney's Beautiful World, Where Are You? Which, gosh, I have a lot of feelings about. But if you want a contemporary fiction, which I feel like we don't have a lot of, literally like the last chapter of that book takes place in the pandemic. So like it is very, very current and it speaks a lot to these like feelings we have of like there's one passage in the book that I read to Anthony yesterday because it really does speak to like how I feel about like we're so connected now and you want to be so involved in the world and like righting injustices in the world and being aware of climate change and everything else that's going on. But as like human beings, we're so interested in each other and each other's lives. And like, that's really what matters to us. And it's kind of amazing that we have room for that in our brains with everything else that's going on. So yeah. It's an interesting read if you are interested in that.
Awesome.
Mine is real lightweight. I watched Fried Green Tomatoes and I was in the mood for something nostalgic, and I watched Romancing the Stone.
Nice.
I've never seen it before.
Me neither.
Well, I mean, I probably did when I was a kid, but I don't remember anything about it. And I was asking Chris, I'm like, do you remember? I'm like, have you watched it? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, what do you remember about it? And he pretty much described the cover of the movie, which is about as much as I remember of that movie.
Swinging on a vine in front of a waterfall.
Them falling down a mudslide, him falling into her crotch is about as much as I remembered of that movie. And I was like, this was delightful.
Fun.
Yeah. It's exact. And I'm like, do I want to watch Jewel of the Nile? Yeah. Yeah, I do.
I mean, I love Catherine. Gosh, what's her name?
Yeah.
Gosh, she's amazing. I love her.
Kathleen Turner.
Kathleen Turner. Yeah.
Yes. I have a very weird recommendation that Eric and I put on last night to go to sleep to, and I wasn't wholly ready for how amazingly fun it is.
Okay.
It's a show called Making Fun on Netflix.
Okay.
And it's like a group of guys that are builders and different like welders and stuff.
Oh, this sounds right up your alley.
They take requests from children who they're like, can you build us a 12-foot tall dinosaur that pukes tacos? And then they build it.
They're like, yeah, we can do that.
We can do that. So these kids, and they're like, the tone of it, it's really similar to this show called if anybody has seen that, where it's very much has that same vibe and some of the same editing, and it's just really cute and really fun. And they build these like insane things, like 2 unicorns on a bicycle racing that fart glitter. They build that, and it's really cute and fun.
Cute.
So it's something that we put on to fall asleep to that we ended up getting invested in.
Yeah, that feels totally like your vibe.
So dorky, but also still really incredibly invested in Severance.
Oh, yeah.
I cannot say enough
how keeping up on Severance.
Incredible the show is. I'm also really enjoying Raised by Wolves. If anybody wants to talk to me about that, I would love to entertain a discussion.
Chris would. He watched all of it. He loved it.
I know. So if you've got something that we should watch, read, anything like that, if you want to just reach out and say hello to us, go to our one-stop shop of a website. It's myworstatepodcast.com. And we love you so much.
Cheers.